ambush because this man is dangerous. This is a dangerous man he's in there with. Here we go.
There's the bell. Here we go with round number 1. Donovan Razor Ruddock wearing the white trunks with red trim. James Bonecrusher Smith, on the other hand, red trunks, white trim. And it's Ruddock dancing around the ring, using good lateral movement. Doesn't want to get too close to the Bonecrusher here in the opening round. Ruddock with a good left hand, Russ, hasn't he?
He sure does. That's going to be his key in the fight. He's going to have to double up on it and keep it out there, because as long as he's using his left hand and doubling up on it, the right hand of Bonecrusher is no good. But if he throws single punches like he did right there, he could get caught with a counter, and we're
particularly if he throws that left hand low to the body as he did there, Russ. Bonecrusher right over the top with the right hand, and that's his big bomb.
Sure. You see, here's the experience of having been in with the great fighters. Notice how calm and relaxed Bonecrusher is. And when you've been in with the best, that's what you learn. No gym can teach you that. No trainer can teach you that. Only being in with the best can teach you that.
Bonecrusher Smith still with that very serious look on his face. Razor Ruddock staying at long distance, unwilling to mix it up with his opponent at this stage, and I don't blame him as we are a minute into the opening round.
Ruddock, I'm sorry, Doug. Ruddock is doing exactly the fight plan that he should do. Maybe just conserve the energy a little bit more, not move when he doesn't have to, only move when Bonecrusher is punching. But Bonecrusher is going to have to, that's what he's got to do. Those are the shots, right down to the body, and slow those legs down, and then take him out later in the fight.
Bonecrusher attempting to tie Ruddock up along the ropes now. Referee Perez in there quickly, and he cautions Bonecrusher about throwing a blow on the break. Ruddock now standing flat-footed at ring center. Ruddock said in his pre-fight comments that if the Bonecrusher came right after him, it would be a mistake. He would punch him silly, but the Bonecrusher really hasn't done that.
No, he hasn't. He's been very calm in his approach, Doug. And the more that Razor can make Bonecrushers miss, the more tired he'll make Bonecrusher. If he lets Bonecrusher land shots, even if they're on the arms or on the gloves or whatever, shoulders, he still won't get as tired as if he misses punches. So let him move, let him make Bonecrusher throw, make him miss, and keep that left hand busy. That's the key, keeping that left hand busy.
Bonecrusher down to the canvas, but that was a slip as he pursued his adversary into the ropes. Ruddock had just connected with a lead right hand and then followed with a left to the body, and that seemed to anger Bonecrusher somewhat as he chased his man in. That has been a fault of his in some of his previous fights. I refer to James Smith, Russ, that he has started awfully slowly. You keep expecting round after round that, hey, he's got to pick this pace up, and in some of his fights, he's just never done it.
No, he hasn't, but, you know, the thing is, with a puncher like him, he can't go out bombing early, because if he does, he's not going to be around for the end. So, as he's learned to take his time and throw quality punches instead of quantity punches, the experience he has will probably pay off for him.
Time ticking down here in round 1 of this scheduled 10-rounder. Not much action as this fight gets underway. It's been a feeling out process, and both fighters beginning to break a bit of a sweat now as we follow Bonecrusher Smith back to his corner. Russ, your feelings about that first round? Pretty much what you expected?
Pretty much so. Actually, it was exactly what I expected. Razor established dominance and showed he was here to fight without winning the round. He didn't get hit. I'd have to give that round to Bonecrusher, but Bonecrusher, I think, realizes that the man in front of him is here to fight.
Down here and head down. Leave that jab short. The minute he goes out there and try to act like he's playing possum, go to work on him, you understand? Okay. And keep that head down. Okay. Bring that head down. Move. How you feel? Looking good. Looking good.
What should we do? More jabs?
More jabs. More jabs. More hooks. Left hook. Don't overstep that left leg. You look very good. Okay? How you feel? Get close to the punch. Take one. Take good one.
You heard him. He said, don't overstep that left leg. That means he doesn't want Bonecrusher reaching with that jab. He just wants him to use it as a rangefinder to set up those good body shots and maybe come back to the head.
What interested me, Russ, can you actually believe Bonecrusher Smith asking Joe Frazier, should I throw more left hooks? You know, the all-time great left hooker, should I throw more left hooks? Well, of course, what's he going to say?
Doug, I think he asked him about throwing more jabs, not about left hooks.
Well, he followed up with hooks.
Oh, okay.
He did mention jabs. Frazier also told him that when Ruddock stands in front of you flat-footed playing possum, go after him. Chase him down.
That's what he's going to have to do, because if he lets... You see, Ruddock he's fast and he is a good puncher, not as good as Bonecrusher, but he is a solid, respectable heavyweight puncher. And if he can keep Ruddock Ruddock moving and Ruddock doesn't plant his feet, he can take away that power.
Oh! Man, what an awesome right hand. Donovan Razor Ruddock trying to get his senses back about him. Tony Perez, the referee, he's going to let it continue. Bonecrusher Smith right after his man. Ruddock trying to tie up, and that's what he's got to do.
That's exactly what he's got to do, and he's doing it the right way. He's cupping him behind the head, so that right hand is no good.
Tying him up once again, but that was a booming right hand that put him down, Russ.
It sure was. Bonecrusher shouldn't get crazy now. He should do it the same way he scored the knockdown. He set it up, and boom, he landed the right hand.
Razor Ruddock dancing on his toes once again, but backpedaling as Bonecrusher Smith goes for the knockout, trying to put his man away. Had him on the canvas earlier here in this second round with a devastating right hand, and Ruddock trying to hang on with just over a minute to go in the round.
Ruddock is in great condition. He's in great condition to have taken that shot and regain his composure. There he goes, right back to that left jab. See him stick that left hand out. He's on top of Bonecrusher's shoulder, on his right shoulder. That makes the right hand useless.
Bonecrusher back to the attack again as Ruddock counters with a couple of right hand uppercuts. They tie up in the corner, and now Bonecrusher beginning to sport a little bit of a mouse, I think, Russ, under his right eye from the left jab. Not a large one, but enough to show that there is a mark there.
Well, it's probably an accumulation of the jabs, as well as they've been banging heads in there.
Razor Ruddock to the attack now as Bonecrusher was caught off balance.
He hurt him. He hurt him with a left hook. He hurt Bonecrusher.
Bonecrusher trying to tie up now. 20 seconds to go in the round. Ruddock measuring his man. Smith trying to tie up along the ropes. Ruddock flat-footed, throws that left hand in there. Smith back with the left to the body.
Those are the shots. Those are the shots he's got to use. They'll pay off in the end. They'll pay off in round 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Oh, good left hand. Only partially blocked by the glove of Bonecrusher Smith. And there's Razor Ruddock with his arms upraised. He's saying, yes, yes, I survived. Although he went to the wrong corner, Russ.
I don't know if he went to the wrong corner. He might have gone to the camera, but he recuperated really well. He's in great shape. He's very lucid in the corner. Here it is. Ruddock tried to exchange with him. Boom, right hand came over the top.
Oh, my, he's down like a sack of potatoes. And I'll tell you, Russ, when he first regained his feet, he looked awfully, awfully shaky. And here's Donovan coming back late in that second round.
He hurt him with a left hook, and Bonecrusher didn't know where he was. He got hurt with that shot. His legs were all over the place.
Nice back up. This is your round, baby. Now, you pick it up. You pick it up, all right? You pick it up. You pick it up for me, all right? Pick it up. You're gonna jab, let the right hand come across, all right? You slide to your right, right? Let it go. You let it go. Stand up.
They want him sliding over to the. They want him sliding over to the right. Get away from that right hand.
Round 3 of the scheduled 10-rounder underway. And after a somewhat lackadaisical opening round, boy, did we have fireworks in round 2. James Smith connecting with a devastating overhand right that dropped Donovan Ruddock to the canvas just about a minute into the round. When he regained his feet, he looked awfully, awfully shaky. It was doubtful whether he'd be able to complete the round, but to his credit, he managed to hang on, tie his man up, and in the latter stages of the round, actually became the aggressor.
He recovered really well from that, Doug. I'm really surprised. Not so much surprised, but that is exactly a credit to Janks Morton. He got him ready for this fight, and he recovered well from that knockdown. Not too many people recovered from Bonecrusher's right hand.
I'm sure Murad Muhammad, who promotes Ruddock's bouts, held his breath when he saw his man go down.
I think that whole Razor corner held their breath.
They, of course, are looking eventually for a shot at the reigning world champion, Iron Mike Tyson. And this by far, and I think you'll agree with me, Russ, is the toughest opponent that Razor Ruddock has yet been in the ring with. He fought Mike Weaver, sure, former champion. There's Joe Frazier watching from the Bonecrusher Smith corner. Getting back to the point I was making, he fought James Broad, Ruddock did, but Broad 25 pounds overweight and past his prime. But in James Bonecrusher Smith, he is fighting a legitimate top 10 contender who is in shape, and as he has shown you, can punch. Oh boy, can he punch.
He sure can, but Doug, you know, the basic thing about all big punchers is, do they have the stamina in the late round?
Well, that's it.
Oh, hook.
He wobbled him with that one for a moment. Now the straight right hand. Bonecrusher trying to come back with a right of his own, but that was blocked by Ruddock's shoulder.
Now that's what I mean when I said that Bonecrusher is the puncher. If Bonecrusher had landed like that, we could have been out of here. Razor hurt him, but not enough to finish him. If he doesn't get carried away and get careless and keep landing those clean shots, he's liable to take Bonecrusher out late in the fight. That was a good left hook. He feinted the jab and turned it into a hook.
Less than a minute to go in round 3. Heavyweight action from Fayetteville, North Carolina this afternoon on Sports Weekend. Canadian champion Donovan Razor Ruddock with a record of 21 victories, 1 loss and 1 draw in against the former WBA heavyweight champion of the world. And I think Razor Ruddock, although respectful of Bonecrusher Smith's power, he certainly should be, is gaining confidence as this fight progresses, Russ. He is finding that he can hit this man.
And not only can he hit him, but he can take the shot, too. He's been tagged a few times, went down, and he's back here. He's saying, hey, I can be in with this guy.
There's that left jab once again. Round 3 almost at a close. Smith with a jab of his own now, but more of a pawing motion than anything with any sort of snap behind it. There's the bell, the end of round number 3, as referee Tony Perez signals the two to their corners. So not nearly as much action in that 3rd round as there was in round 2, but that's not surprising because in round 2, both boxers had each other in trouble.
They sure did, Doug. Boy, they were banging. They're throwing some heavy leather in there. I think they're going to cool off a little bit in the next few rounds unless one of them happens to land a good, clean shot.
How you feel? How you feel?
Well, we take a look at Ruddock's corner, but that was Joe Frazier. There he is now, talking to Bonecrusher Smith.
Head down. You pull him back up. Quit pulling out. You understand?
Go to the body.
You got him under control, right?
Go to the body.
Go like you've been going the first time. Pick up the speed. You understand? You pick up that speed some for me.
I noticed that as well, and Frazier gave him the same instructions.
Razor Ruddock in his corner with trainer Jenks Morton.
There's that left hook. He feinted a jab and turned it into a hook. Here we go.
The bell has sounded. Round number 4 from the Cumberland County Memorial Auditorium in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It is Canadian champion Donovan Razor Ruddock in the white trunks with red trim against former WBA world champion James Bonecrusher Smith in red trunks with white trim. Interesting fight so far as Ruddock was caught with a booming right hand in the 2nd round, went to the canvas, but he's come back awfully strong since then, seems to be building momentum. Perhaps he feels in his own mind now that, hey, I've taken the best this man has to offer, and I was able to get back into my feet, but that doesn't mean he can become careless. Now he's got Smith against the ropes, looking to line up and tee off, got a right hand in there, grazing blow.
Boy, I'm impressed with Razor Ruddock. He's keeping his composure really well. He's landed some clean shots, and he's not getting carried away. He's making the old legs move back. He's moving the Bonecrusher back.
You know, you were mentioning, Russ, you often question the stamina of the big hitter like Bonecrusher. You mentioned at the beginning of the telecast that he is also listed as 36 years old, and some say that's not accurate. He is actually older than that. So you combine the two, his advanced age for a boxer and the fact that he's a banger, and I wonder just how long those legs are going to be able to carry him.
I don't know. The only thing that I know that Bonecrusher will have until the very end is the power. He might not have the wind, he might not have the stamina, he might not have the legs, but he's got dynamite in that right hand, and he's got that puncher's chance.
Smith attempting to tie Ruddock up along the ropes now as Ruddock was firing from all directions, trying to get the heavy artillery unleashed. Bonecrusher back with a left-right combination. Not effective at all. And now Ruddock, who was dancing on his toes earlier in the fight, electing to go flat-footed with this man.
Bonecrusher looks tired, Doug.
Does he ever?
He sure does. He wanted this thing over in the 2nd round. It didn't happen. There's that left hook again. Right hand.
That's exactly the point I was alluding to earlier. Smith expending tremendous energy in the first, rounds 2 and 3, I'd say. That coupled with his advanced age, comparatively speaking, in professional boxing. And he does look tired, and you will note as well that between every round, Joe Frazier, Smokin' Joe, who is working his corner, is asking him repeatedly, how do you feel? How do you feel?
He also told him at the end of the round, don't pull out from the inside. inside, and he doesn't want him backing up against Razor, because if he's backing up, he can't plant his feet and land the big bomb. He wants Bonecrusher going forward. Oh, those are low blows. Oh, another one.
Razor Ruddock back with a left-right combination. Has Smith up along the ropes, and now Smith ties him up in the corner. But I'll tell you, the Bonecrusher's face is beginning to show the effects of some of the damage he has taken. And as he makes his way back to his corner, Russ, he is one awfully tired heavyweight boxer.
The legs are very unsteady. There's chaos in the corner. They didn't get the stool in on time. He is a tired heavyweight. A tired heavyweight.
You're letting this man get away from you. Wake up some. You understand? You're letting this man get away from you, Bone. You got him under control. Deal with him. Give me that. This only is the fourth, fifth round. You gotta deal with him. How you feel? Take a couple of them. Come on.
I don't think Razor is hurting him all that much, but he's not going to replace the fatigue.
Let's take a look at the highlights from that fourth round, Russ.
Oh, this is when he threw the consecutive right hands. Boom, one after the other. He doubled up on the right hand. Now, you see Bonecrusher's moving back like that. When he's doing that, there is no possible way he can land the power. He's got to hold his ground, duck under, roll to the left, roll to the right. Not back up. If he's back, a blind man can hit you when you back up in a straight line.
Razor Ruddock just pursuing him across the ring, backing him right across. And here we go with round number 5.
I'm impressed with Razor Ruddock. I'm really impressed with Razor Ruddock.
I wonder if Iron Mike is watching somewhere today. I wonder if Evander Holyfield is watching somewhere today. Because it seems inevitable that they are going to have to meet one of these gentlemen at some point in the very near future. And at this stage of the game, it looks as though it could be Donovan Razor Ruddock. Unless Bonecrusher Smith can suddenly regroup and find that power that he has been missing since round number 2.
You know, we mentioned earlier, Doug, about Razor being only 23 years of age. He wants a really big win here. He would love nothing more than to knock out Bonecrusher. But if I was in that corner, that's not what I'd be calling. Just do what you're doing. It's working fine. Don't fix what's not broken. Keep scoring those points. Hurt him on occasion, and you'll win this fight, because there is still that dynamite.
And once again, as he did in the previous round, Razor Ruddock electing to go flat-footed with Smith. That's unusual for Razor. Usually you will see him dancing on his toes, showing good lateral movement. It almost seems, Russ, as though he's lost a certain amount of respect for Bonecrusher.
Well, I think he's just matured more as a heavyweight. He's only moving when he has to. If you don't have to move, if you don't have to, don't do it. Why waste the energy for nothing, Doug?
Once again, Tony Perez in to separate them. And the Bonecrusher with his mouth open now, gasping for air through that mouthpiece. That little mouse I alluded to under his right eye now somewhat more noticeable than when first observed. A lot of clutching, a lot of grabbing by Bonecrusher Smith, as he doesn't want to get into that no man's land where Razor Ruddock can tee off and land those telling blows.
He gets on the inside with Razor and he won't do any work. He's just waiting there for Tony Perez to break them up. He's got to work inside. He's got to put those investment shots into the body.
Same thing he did against Tyson, Russ, and it cost him.
Yeah. He is a tired man in there, Doug. Razor, I don't care what happens tonight. Razor is a heavyweight to be contended with.
Yeah, he's legitimate. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people said, who's he beaten? Oh, yeah, he staggered him with a right hand there. And now the Bonecrusher right back.
See, that's foolish. He doesn't have to do that. He heard him step away. Heard him again a little later. Don't get into the exchange with him.
Donovan Razor Ruddock with his youthful enthusiasm, and it may cost him unless Jenks Morton can get him calmed down in his corner between rounds. I agree with Russ. Take your time, hurt your man, step out, step back in, hurt him again, but don't try to mix it up with him.
What for? What's the reason? What's the purpose of it?
Bonecrusher Smith may be a wounded lion, but he is still a lion. His claws are still sharp.
Doug, there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal.
There's the end of round number 5. And I'll tell you, if you paid money to get into this place today, you're not going to go home feeling cheated.
They're earning every penny they're getting. I hope that Bonecrusher, who's involved in the promotion, has got enough people in here to pay his purse. This is where they got into the toe-to-toe exchange, Doug. Boom. Right hand landed.
It's a good thing Razor's head wasn't another 6 inches forward than it was, or he'd have been down again, I'm afraid. Here's Joe Frazier.
Let's go. Come on. You can do it.
They got the cut man in there working on those eyes.
Pull it back. Put the weight on that left leg. You got me? Put the weight on that left leg. Tick-tock. Put the weight on that left leg. You understand? You got me? Bone. You understand what I'm saying? Put your... This is your hometown. Work with him, Crusher. Work with him.
And in the Donovan Razor Ruddock corner, Jenks Morton giving his final instructions, and I'm sure warning his young charge, whatever you do, don't get over anxious. This fight is yours if you follow the game plan. Round number 6 from the Cumberland County Memorial Auditorium. We're in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Heavyweight boxing action on Sports Weekend this afternoon, as Razor Ruddock has proved and is proving that he is in fact a legitimate contender. He does in fact belong among the world's top 10 heavyweights. Is this the last hurrah, on the other hand, for James Bonecrusher Smith? He is old by boxing standards. Expressed confidence prior to the fight that he felt he had one more big one in him. He is co-promoting this, so he's got a financial tie as well. But he is a tired man here in round 6. And has the Vaseline spread on extremely heavy under that right eye where the mouse was beginning to form. And Russ, I noticed in the last round as well that blood was beginning to trickle from Bonecrusher's nostrils. That lethal jab of Ruddock's getting in there.
It sure is, and that's his key weapon in the fight. As long as he keeps doing that, maintaining control, because the jab will set up everything else. Like if he lands the jab, he can land the right hand. If he hurts Bonecrusher, step away. You'll hurt him again the same way. But don't go after a wounded animal. They are dangerous.
Both men listed on the tail of the tape as having an 82-inch reach, although you'd never know it because it's Ruddock that's landing far more effective jabs and far more often. He's just popping them in there.
Used a nice feint there. He feinted the right hand and tried to turn that left hook that he hurt Bonecrusher with in the second round.
Bonecrusher now with his elbows low. Still has his gloves up, but dropping the elbows, often the sign of a tired fighter. Ruddock, on the other hand, sizing his man up, takes a jab on the temple. No real steam behind it. Bonecrusher keeping his eyes down, I should say, watching Ruddock's hands, and there pop is that jab again.
Let me tell you something, Doug. Razor Ruddock is in control of this fight.
Oh, absolutely.
He's fighting when he wants to fight, and he's resting when he wants to rest. Bonecrusher can't let him rest. That was a slip. That was a slip. He hit him and slipped at the same time.
Tony Perez in quickly, and now Ruddock wading right in, showing very little respect for Bonecrusher's power. Bonecrusher backed up against the ropes, immediate above our broadcast vantage point. Ruddock caught with a right hand that time, but it didn't have the force of the right hand in the second round that sent him to the canvas.
See, Bonecrusher's not doing anything. Look, he's in punching range on the inside. He's got the body, and the hand just won't go, Doug. I think just missed that right.
I think the gas tank is on empty, Russ. He's running on fumes at this stage of the game.
Unless he's got a Jaguar and he can flip the other switch for the reserve tank.
Ruddock chasing his man against the ropes. There's the bell. Round 6 comes to a close. And after a shaky beginning, Donovan Razor Ruddock in firm command of this scheduled 10-round heavyweight encounter. You've got to put him well ahead on points, Russ. He's won, I would say, every one of the last 4 rounds.
Well, I call the 5th round a little bit even because neither one of them seemed to do much based on what they did earlier. But I've got Ruddock ahead.
Jenks Morton giving some advice to Razor Ruddock, and we're having some difficulty trying to pick up those instructions. Razor Ruddock, who beat Alberta native Kenny Lacusta for the Canadian heavyweight title, and apparently has to defend that in the near future against Tony Morrison of Toronto, Russ. But with bigger fish to fry, I somehow wonder if he might not forsake the Canadian title if he can land a shot with a Holyfield or a Tyson.
I don't know. I think they might take it, Doug. There's talk going around that it's scheduled for end of August in Toronto. I mean, you know, there's always talk, but he might keep it. Why not?
Round 7 of this heavyweight battle underway. I know, Russ, it was only 4 years ago that Donovan Razor Ruddock thought his professional boxing career was all over. He fought in the Halifax, Dartmouth area against a journeyman fighter from the New York area, as I recall, by the name of Dave Draco.
That's right.
Thoroughly boxed his ears off for 8 rounds, and then all of a sudden in round 9, it was Razor Ruddock who was totally out of gas, and he lost by a TKO. They discovered after that bout that he was suffering from a rare respiratory ailment. He thought his career was over. But fortunately, after a year layoff from the ring, they were able to treat it with medication. It's been upward and onward ever since.
It sure has, and he is looking like a champ.
Oh, caught him with a right hand.
Sure did. Just earlier in the round, he feinted Bonecrusher. He didn't even throw a punch, and Bonecrusher was ducking and bopping and weaving at nothing. There was nothing there. I'm impressed with this young man. This guy is good. He is somebody to be dealt with in the heavyweight division.
Well, you know, Russ, the Canadian heavyweight title really hasn't had a lot of respect when you think about it, unless you go back to the days of George Chavallo. I'm talking now on the international scene. This young man seems as though he has the ability to give that title some respect in the world again.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, Doug. I'm impressed. This guy is good. Oh, good body shot.
And once again, Smith trying to fight back. But every time he throws that left hook, Russ, he's landing it low, and I'm a little surprised that Perez hasn't cautioned it.
Me too. I'm surprised as well, Doug. There it is again.
There it is again, below the belt. Oh, boy.
Those are desperation punches now. He's throwing desperate. This is not going to go the distance, Doug.
Bonecrusher is showing some battle scars now. His face looks like he had an argument with a garbage truck, I'll tell you. He's tired.
He sure is. Oh, good up that. Oh, nice shots underneath.
Razor Ruddock looking fresh as a daisy. Right cross, landed. There's another one. Right hand. Bonecrusher looking to tie up. Ruddock left hand. He's down. He's down. Couple of right hands followed by a left hook. And I think he might have got one more right in there, but that's going to be it, Russ. It's over. Holy cow, count him out.
Evander Holyfield was right. They're going to have to pay him a lot of money to face this man.
You got that right, but not for the reason that Evander Holyfield elucidated. He was saying, why should I fight a guy that's number 6? They'll have to pay him a lot of money to fight Razor Ruddock.